Peter Cox, it's so nice to see you. How are you?
I'm very well, Helen. How are you doing?
I'm really well, thank you. Congratulations, you are number one in the Heritage chart. That is amazing news.
Yes, it's very exciting. And for those who don't know about the Heritage Chart, it's a platform for music that's largely ignored by mainstream radio. And crucially, the chart positions are voted for by the public. So I've got a huge thanks to say to all my faithful supporters for voting for me week after week and getting me to number one. Thank you so much.
It's Mike Reed that runs this chart, isn't it? And you've got more and more, really good artists coming into it. You've got Toya at number two.
Yeah, and Tony Hadley was number one last week. As I say, it's all these artists are still making music, but it's very difficult to get national exposure. So the fact that Mike has spotted this hole in the market, if you will, and started the Heritage Chart. And as you say, as he's 100 weeks into the chart now, but I believe there is now a Heritage Chart TV show, which is only in its 10th weekly episode. So obviously the enterprise is on the rise, as they say.
So for anybody that's not yet voted for you, Peter, you're hoping to kind of hang on to this number one spot for a little bit longer. What can they do?
Well, it's very easy. You just Google Heritage Chart. I'm not sure of the web address, heritagechart.co.uk, maybe. From there, it's really simple. If you just scroll down, all the instructions are right there. It's dead easy. You can vote for as many songs as you like, but you can only vote once a week for each song. But as you say, my fingers are crossed that I might just possibly hang on to the number one spot. We'll see.
We are all hoping that on the back of this, it's going to lead to a solo tour, Pete, and that you are going to come to Nottingham because we have like such cool little venues like Rock City here in Nottingham, which would be perfect for a solo tour.
That's very kind of you to say. Yes, of course. The way that the music industry has changed means that kind of the point of writing songs, recording songs, making those available is no longer in the hope of making any money, but more in terms of promotion for the prospect of live shows if they could be viable. I mean, these are challenging times, so it's an expensive business to get out there and play even one show, and certainly in the way and the style that I would like to do it. But the short answer to your question is that yes, I'm very much hoping there will be some solo shows, maybe even a tour. It depends how much interest there is in Too Far Gone, which is the song I have out currently, She Wants Magic, which is my next single, and the tracks going on as the album nears completion, he said with his fingers crossed for later in the year. But yes, I hear that Nottingham is a thriving scene. A friend, acquaintance of mine, Rick Parfitt Jr., I think he lives in Nottingham and sings its praises all the time. So
Yeah.
yeah, of course.
Now, speaking of Nottingham, speaking of touring and festivals, you were supposed to be at a brilliant festival. Well, it looked like it's going to be a brilliant festival, Unlocked next month, but it's not happening.
No, it's a shame. This does sometimes happen. And I think that tour festival promoters can struggle with logistics post COVID. It's difficult to find even the logistical staff. We work a lot with a brand called Let's Rock. And I know that during lockdown, a number of the riggers and the people who would put up the stage and these kinds of logistical affairs, obviously they were 2 years without work, like every musician on the planet. So a number of them have actually gone on to do other things. And when lockdown was eased and we were back in a position where we could play shows, some promoters found themselves unable to find these logistical staff to make their festival happen. And I think that might have been the case with the festival that you're talking about. So yeah, it was very, very sad and very disappointing not to be able to come and play there. But you can look up and see the reasons why they had to pull out this time round. They're bound to say they couldn't put it on in the way that they wanted to. And I guess, you could understand the reasons for that.
Absolutely. But all is not lost for these wonderful people of the East Midlands, all these fans of yours, because you are playing Leicester in 2 weeks' time, De Montfort Hall. Very excited, looking forward to that. Can you just tell us a little bit about that? Because it's not just Go West, is it?
No, it's a double headline tour. That's how it's been described, with Paul Young being the other artist. So yes, fans of Paul Young, fans of Go West, fans of the 80s in general can come along and hear all the hits, as they are fond of saying.
So who's on first, you or Paul?
I believe it's going to be Paul. I'm sure that that might change as the dates go on. I think to some extent it's a movable feast. We are sharing a band, so there's no backline move to make. So in theory, it could be one or the other of us. But I believe, at least at the beginning of the tour, Paul will be going on first, and we'll be doing the second half.
Can we expect any collaboration?
We haven't talked about that so far. And of course, the tour starts on Saturday. So unless someone's going to have a brainstorm between that then and now, or maybe even in the early part of the tour, but at the moment, there are no plans, no.
Well, even more reason now for the people of Nottingham that can't go to the Unlocked Festival to go to Leicester, de Montfort. You are #1 in the Heritage chart. If there's any other reason to come and see you, that's a good enough reason. Anything you could say to the people that haven't yet booked a ticket that maybe could come and see you?
Well, come out and support live music. I hope that we're offering a bill that will be entertaining. And, people who know Paul, people who know Go West, they know all the songs that they are likely to hear. I'm sure they won't be disappointed on that front. And we are really looking forward to getting on the road. This will be my first proper tour. I mean, we've been gigging all along, but gigs tend to be Saturday, Sunday, and then the rest of the week. People are less likely to go out. But in this instance, here we are on the road in a vehicle. Dates are back to back with all the challenges and hopefully the excitement that that brings. So we're really looking forward to it.
Oh, fantastic. We can't wait to see you in the East Midlands soon, Peter. Thanks a million for talking to us.
Thanks so much, Helen.